Hello everyone, this is IT336Unit7 Recording. This is the last recording for this term. The Unit 7 reading and discussion. The reading is a PDF file that's attached. Unit 7 discussion, the initial post is due Wednesday at 11:59 p.m. Do not forget the required APA reference and in-text citation. For this discussion posting, you will compare and contrast National Cybersecurity Communications Center, Security Center, NCCIC, with Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, CISA, and SANS. Now, it lists a different one, but the link goes to CISA, so that's the one you're going to use. Please don't use a table. It really is hard to read in the discussion. Just use bullet points. Like I said, there is not a link to the United States Computer Emergency Readiness Team, which I think has emerged into CISA, so use that one. So including your comparison, the funding of the organization, the publications and reports of the organization. You can skip this if you cannot find any publications or reports. I couldn't find any, so you can just skip that. The target audience of the publication, of course, you can omit that also because if you can't find publications and reports, you wouldn't have a target audience. So the usefulness of the information to IT professionals about the organization, how useful is the information about it to IT professionals, information for how is it useful to home users, an overall analysis of the organization and their websites, reply to 2 others by Sunday, and include at least 1 open-ended question. Now, the Unit 7 assignment is due Sunday at 11:59 p.m. It says to complete 3 to 4 page report with APA-cited references to support your work. You may not be able to get that much because what you're supposed to do is gather information on a provider of security or privacy products and write a short recommendation. So think of it as you've been asked by your boss to pick a company that provides either security or privacy or both and make a recommendation. So you're going to look up, first you need to find a provider. I would recommend looking up reviews of providers of security services or privacy products, excuse me, and then you want to find out what types of service the vendor provides. Now, it's not a good idea to call the companies because they are going to start inundating you with phone calls, so it's better to do the research online. Facts about the company that would lead to their reliability as a provider. Again, if you can find a review of these companies, you might be able to find more information. How they compare with other vendors. So again, if you have a review of several companies, that's going to help you. One thing I did was search for security products, provider of security products, and I found this company. That's just one way to go about it. Now, it talks about the ICD research reports, and it gives you a way to find them in the library, but I didn't find those very useful. So if you want to find a company and then go back to the library databases, ProQuest Central or something like that, and see if you can find any publications on that company, that'd be fine. You can search for information on that specific company that you've chosen. Provide a reference list for anything that's on that company from an online source. Be sure to check your paper for spelling and grammar with Grammarly. So you're supposed to gear this like you're recommending this company. So as much as the information you can find to provide is a good thing. Like I said, you may not be able to get 3 to 4 pages. Shoot for at least 1.5 or 2 if possible. The Unit 7 final project is also due Sunday. You're to create a resource list to use to learn about, it says learn about most security attacks. It's just a way of having references that you can reach out to later. Might give you insights into security attacks, but also as a helpful resource for later in your security profession. Use the table shown as an example. If you don't want to use the table, then just do bullet points. It says 3 to 4 pages, but I'm more interested in the table or a similar output. You may use resources that you have learned about in this course. Also in the text, there's some resources listed, but don't forget to include people, user groups, networking resources also. If you use the table, do in-text citation within the table, or actually just list the organization and then do a full reference page for online resources. So as I said, you can list the organization, such as CompTIA.org, rather than doing a full in-text citation. But make sure you have a full reference page with the full reference. You can add categories if you want to include a course that doesn't quite fit in the categories. So I did an example of their categories. So for instance, one example of a security certification is CompTIA Security Plus, and I would go to CompTIA.org to find out about it, and then I would have a full reference showing that, the link to the CompTIA site. Then an example of a standard would be the ISO IEC 2701, and that's from the ISO.org. And so I've given you an example for everything, but you can use these examples, but you better provide another one so that you've done some work. Now, as far as personal networking, that's your personal connections. Who are you connected to? Are you connected to people through LinkedIn or some other organization that are involved in security? And these are just examples. You can also list the ISO 17799, that reference that we had in Unit 3, which was Valenzuela. I posted it in the announcements. You should have at least 2 in each category, and you may use my example as one of them. This particular Stay Safe Online is from the book on page 122, so you would get that reference and then do a full reference page on the reference page. So this category is your personal links. And this category I added because it said to provide ways to share information with your own IT department. So you're just going to have to give your thoughts in this particular area. So once you get the table filled out and you have a reference page, then you're good to go. But don't just have my examples, because that will not fly with me. You've got to do some work on your own. Okay? So that's all I have for this week. If you have any questions, please let me know.